did receive one piece of written correspondence by the deadline from Cerritos resident, Mr. Van Sudevan,
Right.
with the same concern. You all received a copy of that. So there really isn't any sort of robust campaign. We did take this matter to the city council years ago, and a policy for not feeding the wildlife was directed, which we made signs. We also hand out little quarter sheets to remind people not to feed the wildlife. The majority of the people are compliant. However, there are some who basically ignore any direction and don't read the signs or ignore the signs. We just, it's really about the health and safety of the wildlife that are out of the park, and the excrement that it has produced as a result of being fed 24 hours a day for the most part. So at this point, there is no plan, if you will, to enhance what we're already doing. We hope that people would be compliant with the signage. They are with many other things. We just hope they would do that. But this is an ongoing problem. This isn't a new problem. This has been going on for, I was a kid here. We would feed the ducks over at Heritage. Don't tell anyone. But haven't done it since we have the policy in place. There is no fine. There's no enforcement as far as the law enforcement agents are concerned. So it really is just please if you could discontinue the feeding. The county, if I'm not mistaken, also, they send, if someone complains, they'll send their Parks Bureau sheriff out there just to reiterate the policy to folks, but there is no fine in place for something like that. Everything that happens, if in fact you do violate an ordinance, which this is not, over at one of the parks, it's a misdemeanor, so there's a $1,000 fine. You can go to jail for 6 months, but we haven't gone that far to create any sort of bail system or anything like that relative to this. We just hope people will do the right thing.
So basically our hands are tied. I mean, it's
Not
just
even
there.
Yeah, it's not, Vice Chair, it's not that it's tied, we recognize this is a problem. We did the first, I think, step to help curtail some of that behavior, but I don't think you're gonna really change people's behaviors, unfortunately.
Well, I have noticed in certain area only in the park, Heritage Park, and also in the Don Knabe, that people go there and feed the birds. Can we put a bigger sign there in that area where there is a concentration where they do it? I know there is a sign there, but I'm talking about very visible sign.
Yeah, I've seen those signs and they're so small, they're so, feeble as such. I think, maybe
Something
we should
like
have
that,
something like larger fonts, a bigger sign, bigger board, and, it's, maybe, at some point we should go about creating some kind of an ordinance or legislation to impose certain fines as such, because I got a lot of phone calls from a lot of the people saying that, hey, we see a lot of these feeding that is taking place, they should stop. And and of course the county has placed a jurisdiction on the city, so it's really become our problem now. So I think somehow we need to come up with a plan to kind of reduce this. I think putting bigger and bolder signs would probably thwart the people from doing that, and I don't know, we need to do something.
I know that would be hard
If you
because
put a
people
bigger
go,
sign.
I've seen a lot of grandmothers go out there with their
Right.
grandkids and they do that. And that's gonna be really hard to sit there and do actually.
Right.
If I may.
Yes.
We do have very large A-frames. They were professionally printed. They're on like a molded plastic.
Right.
They're all around Heritage Park. Similarly, over at the county, which is under county jurisdiction, but city ordinances because it's a park within the city of Cerritos jurisdiction, they also have signage. But again, they have similar issues with people coming. They don't staff that park all the time. We're there from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. during the week. It's gonna happen because we're not there 24 hours a day. Larger signs, in my estimation, in my professional opinion, are not going to really, they may not be as effective as we think they will be. And the signage that we do have, we have them on the entrances of the island. We have those professionally done. I can increase the number of signs that we have out there, but people, just by nature, I hate to say it, just ignore signage. So whether it's got, neon or what have you, they just are gonna do what they want to do, unfortunately. But I think the first step would maybe to be increase the number of signs that we have there. They're in the strategic places where the waterfowl, kind of hang out, which is on the north side of the island. The playground's on the south side, so there's really very little, over there, but maybe we can put one there. Try and step it, up and see if that
The key is
helps.
to put it in a strategic place where they really,
Yeah,
go and
we've
feed
done that,
there,
sir,
so-
yeah, those signs are over there and they're out
Right.
there. Like I said, we used to have posters that were laminated and they got destroyed in the elements, so we got some professional ones,
but it's a problem and we have to address it in.
100%.
Yes,
yeah, I don't disagree at all.
yes, thank you.
I think, I don't mean to belabor the same thing over and again. I must have got about 5 or 6 phone calls in the last 1 week. What are you guys doing about it? I think we may have to move towards some kind of penalty as such. If somebody is caught in the act of doing it. And this is something the decision has to be made by the council, I guess. So I think I agree with, everybody here that science is not something that's going to preclude the problem completely, but it's definitely going to abate when you have bigger signs and multiple signs. So.
I've taken a note, so, we'll have a chat with the city manager and see which direction he would like to go with respect to this. We do definitely want people to come and enjoy the parks and, the goal is to get people out there to recreate, to enhance their quality of life. That is the goal. Certainly, we would love for people to, abide by the policies. There's other policies that they don't abide by, it's just the nature of people today, unfortunately. But certainly if there's maybe if an ordinance is in fact established, there would be a grace period where we can educate folks like we did the last time when we instituted the, policy for not feeding the wildlife. So hopefully people would get the message. Maybe if you hit them in the pocketbook, it would change
Yeah,
their
maybe.
behavior, but I've been doing this 30-something years. I just don't
I
think that's
think-
gonna be the case.
I
My
think-
hope is,
We gotta do something of that nature, because otherwise this problem
I've
is not
also
going to
seen bird flying out and migrating, and maybe they'll go to the countryside.
sadly, because of all the food, these
Right.
birds, we did an extensive amount of research, they just don't wanna leave because
Yeah.
they're being fed very
Yeah,
well,
right.
it's
So
like
if
getting
we stop
filet
feeding,
mignon.
maybe they'll go towards the countryside,
Yeah, I don't think so,
Right.
but, yeah,
and we may not have a problem, right?
I think we're always gonna have one. As long as we have a source of water,
Right,
we're going to have a waterfowl issue. It's the same
Right.
at the golf course. Not
Exactly.
quite as much because there's coyotes that run through there,
exactly.
kind of curtail the population, but I've taken a note, so we'll see where we can go with
Yeah,
this. and we'll get the-
it's a problem and we need to
Sure.
work on that.
So do you think in the next meeting we'll get an update, after you have talked to the city manager?
Today where are we at? This is February. I'll do my best. We're right in the middle of budget season right now, so, he's a pretty busy guy. I'll try and get on his calendar, see if we can't meet with him to kind of discuss and flush out some of the concerns that the commission has raised. So I'll do my best. If I have any sort of update, one way or the other, we'll provide a memo to the commission.
Okay, fair enough.
Anybody has any comments?